thing my dad did was made me run 10 miles, actually,
Oh, wow.
and in boots. And he kept telling me, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? And then one day he said, all right, he bought some boots. We were driving, bought some boots, put them on me. They didn't even fit right, military boots. And then 3 hours later, he said, let's go. And
Wow.
we ran 10 miles. I still have scars on my feet from that. But he wanted to know, was I willing to push through the pain? Because he knew if not, he couldn't.
In a stunning revelation shaking the world of sports and beyond, the son of boxing legend George Foreman has faced a turning point in his life with his sentencing. The unfolding drama of legal proceedings, heartfelt comments, and the enduring weight of legacy have culminated in a moment of both sorrow and hope. The legacy of a champion now faces a complex chapter of accountability and redemption as news of his sentencing spreads across the nation. The courtroom was filled with a tense mixture of disbelief and subdued emotion as the final verdict was read. In an atmosphere heavy with anticipation and the echoes of past glories, the legal proceedings that have gripped the media and the public alike reached their climax. The son of the iconic George Foreman, whose name has long been synonymous with strength, determination, and success, now finds himself navigating the intricate maze of the justice system. The charges laid before him have been scrutinized by experts, discussed by fans, and dissected by pundits, all while the legacy of his family loomed large over every word spoken in the court. In recent months, the events leading up to the sentencing have been the subject of relentless media attention, with every detail of the case drawing comparisons to the trials of celebrities and sports icons. It is important to understand that the case is not simply a matter of legal procedure, but a deeply personal journey for a man born into a legacy of triumph and controversy. The proceedings began with careful deliberation and extensive investigations that left no stone unturned, as legal experts from across the country provided their insights into the intricacies of the case. The evidence, presented in a manner both methodical and at times sensational, revealed layers of personal struggle, responsibility, and moments of reckoning that resonated with audiences far beyond the courtroom walls. Throughout the trial, the defense argued passionately on behalf of the young man, emphasizing not only his familial ties to a legendary figure, but also the personal hardships and challenges he had faced, growing up in the long shadow of a name that commands respect worldwide. His legal team maintained that while he had made serious errors in judgment, there were mitigating circumstances that called for a measured approach to his sentencing. They spoke of a young man who had been shaped by both the immense pressures of public expectation and the complex dynamics of living up to a family name that had built its reputation on both success in the ring and resilience outside of it. The narrative that emerged was one of a man caught between two worlds, the legacy of his father's formidable achievements and the harsh realities of modern accountability. Courtroom observers noted that even as the charges were discussed in somber tones, there was a palpable sense of empathy for someone who, despite the gravity of his actions, had never entirely escaped the intense scrutiny that comes with being part of a storied lineage. His comments during the proceedings were measured and reflective, conveying a mixture of regret and resolve. In his own words, he expressed deep sorrow for the events that had brought him to this point, acknowledging that his actions had consequences not only for himself, but also for the extended family that had always been his pillar of strength. Throughout the lengthy trial, the young man's expressions of remorse were interwoven with pleas for understanding. As he recounted moments of vulnerability and introspection, he mentioned, "I have learned that my life is not defined solely by my mistakes, but by my ability to rise above them and take responsibility for my actions." These words resonated deeply with a courtroom filled with family members, friends, and legal experts who recognized that even those with immense privilege and legacy are not immune to the trials of human error. The trial was not just a legal battle. It was a mirror held up to a society that grapples with forgiveness, redemption, and the often unforgiving nature of public opinion. As the sentencing was pronounced, a hush fell over the courtroom, punctuated only by the quiet murmurs of those in attendance. The judge, in a measured tone, outlined the rationale behind the decision, emphasizing the importance of accountability, while also recognizing the potential for rehabilitation. The sentence was presented not as an end, but as a beginning, a difficult yet necessary step toward personal growth and the redefinition of one's identity in the wake of a public mistake. Legal analysts quickly pointed out that the verdict was designed to serve as both a deterrent and a pathway for the young man to rebuild his life, acknowledging the dual nature of justice that seeks not only to punish, but also to reform. In the days following the sentencing, the public reaction was as varied as it was intense. Longtime fans of the Foreman family expressed a mix of empathy and shock, grappling with the dissonance between the legacy of a legendary figure and the turbulent reality of a new generation. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions that ranged from expressions of support to analytical breakdowns of the legal strategy employed during the trial. Many were left wondering how someone from such a storied background could have ended up in a situation that called for such a stern judicial response, while others saw it as a stark reminder that fame and legacy do not exempt one from the consequences of one's actions. Throughout this entire process, the legacy of George Foreman loomed large. The iconic boxer, renowned for his prowess in the ring and his entrepreneurial ventures outside of it, had always been seen as a symbol of strength, perseverance, and redemption. His influence was evident in every discussion surrounding the trial, as pundits and fans alike debated whether the son's actions were an aberration or a product of an environment that, despite its privileges, was fraught with its own challenges. The juxtaposition of his father's illustrious career with the current legal predicament served as a potent reminder that every individual, regardless of their background, must ultimately face the consequences of their actions. The trial itself became a narrative of contrasts, where the grandeur of a famous name met the gritty reality of legal scrutiny. Courtroom sketches and reports captured the emotional weight of the proceedings, with many observers noting that the atmosphere was charged with a sense of inevitability. It was clear that this was not merely another celebrity trial. It was a moment of reckoning for someone who had long been in the public eye. The proceedings offered a window into the complexities of the legal system, where every word spoken, every piece of evidence examined, and every gesture made by the defendant was meticulously analyzed by a society eager for both accountability and closure. The defense's strategy was characterized by a focus on rehabilitation and personal transformation. They argued that the young man's actions, while undeniably serious, were not representative of his true character. His defense counsel elaborated on the idea that the path to redemption was often paved with moments of profound personal insight and transformation. In their closing arguments, they urged the court to consider not just the severity of the incident, but also the context of a life marked by constant public scrutiny and the pressures of living up to an almost mythic legacy. Their message was clear. The sentence should serve as an opportunity for the defendant to reflect, learn, and ultimately grow from this painful experience. In one particularly poignant moment during the trial, the young man recounted a memory from his childhood, a time when his father's larger-than-life persona was a source of both inspiration and intimidation. He described how he would watch in awe as his father stepped into the ring, every movement a masterclass in determination and power. That memory, he said, was a constant reminder of the legacy he was born into, a legacy that now stood in stark contrast to the decisions that had led him to this courtroom. His voice, steady, yet filled with emotion, conveyed a deep understanding that the path to true greatness was not paved solely by inherited talent or public adulation, but by the courage to confront one's own failings and work tirelessly toward redemption. The judge's words during the sentencing were carefully chosen, emphasizing the importance of personal accountability, while also leaving the door open for future rehabilitation. The sentence was not designed to break a man, but to encourage him to embark on a difficult journey of self-improvement. The decision was met with mixed emotions, relief by some who saw it as a balanced approach to justice, and disappointment by others who had hoped for a harsher penalty that would serve as a more emphatic deterrent. In his closing remarks, the judge remarked on the complexities of human behavior and the need for a judicial system that could both punish and uplift, ensuring that those who have faltered have a chance to redeem themselves and contribute positively to society. As the legal proceedings came to a close, the broader implications of the case began to surface. Legal experts, sports historians, and cultural commentators all weighed in on what the sentencing might mean for the future of the Foreman family, and by extension, for the way society viewed accountability among the privileged. Many noted that this was not an isolated incident, but rather part of a broader narrative in which the legacy of celebrated figures is continually re-examined through the lens of modern expectations and ethical standards. The case, they argued, served as a reminder that regardless of one's background or family history, the demands of the law and the expectations of society remain constant and unyielding. In the weeks that followed, numerous interviews and press conferences provided further insight into the young man's state of mind. In one exclusive interview, he spoke candidly about the challenges he faced in reconciling his personal identity with the public image that had been crafted around him since birth. "I have always known that living up to a name like Foreman comes with a tremendous burden," he explained. "There are moments when I feel the weight of expectations and the relentless gaze of the public, and it becomes a struggle to assert my individuality. This experience has forced me to confront parts of myself that I had long ignored, and I am committed to turning this pain into a catalyst for positive change." His words struck a chord with many who saw his plight as emblematic of the challenges faced by individuals who are thrust into the spotlight from an early age, forced to balance the ideals of family legacy with the stark realities of modern life. Media coverage of the sentencing was relentless and multifaceted, with every major outlet dedicating extensive analysis to the implications of the verdict. Television segments, newspaper editorials, and online commentaries painted a picture of a young man at a crossroads, a moment in which his future, both personally and in relation to the storied Foreman legacy, was uncertain. Many commentators expressed hope that the sentence would serve as a turning point, offering the opportunity for genuine rehabilitation and a chance to rewrite the narrative of a life marred by a single, albeit significant, lapse in judgment. At the same time, there was an undercurrent of caution among those who believed that the path to redemption would be fraught with challenges, not least because of the pervasive public interest that would continue to scrutinize every step he took in the future. Legal scholars weighed in on the broader societal implications of the case, arguing that it highlighted the evolving nature of justice in an era where celebrity and legacy often intersect with legal accountability. They noted that the sentencing was emblematic of a judicial system that was increasingly attentive to the nuances of personal history, public expectation, and the need for a measured response in cases where the individual's background was as storied as his. In this light, the case was seen as a microcosm of larger debates about the intersection of fame, responsibility, and the possibility of redemption in a world that is both fascinated and repelled by the fallibility of its heroes. As discussions about the sentencing continued to reverberate through the media, there emerged a sense that this was a pivotal moment for the Foreman family. Observers noted that while the legacy of George Foreman had long been defined by his achievements in the boxing ring and his subsequent ventures in business and philanthropy, the actions of his son had introduced a new chapter into that storied history. It was a chapter marked not by the triumphs of athletic prowess, but by the sober realities of accountability and the profound challenges of personal transformation. Family members, while deeply private about their personal lives, were seen rallying around the young man, expressing a steadfast commitment to supporting him as he embarked on the arduous journey toward rehabilitation. Within the legal community, there was a consensus that the sentence was designed not merely as punishment, but as an opportunity for constructive change. The young man was expected to undergo a series of rehabilitative programs that would help him address the underlying issues that had contributed to his actions. These programs, ranging from counseling and community service to initiatives aimed at restoring public trust, were intended to provide him with the tools necessary to rebuild his life and, in time, restore the reputation that had been so tarnished by this unfortunate chapter. Legal experts stressed that while the road ahead would be long and fraught with obstacles, the ultimate goal of the sentence was to ensure that justice was served in a manner that was both humane and forward-looking. The impact of the verdict extended far beyond the confines of the courtroom. Sports fans, who had grown up admiring the indomitable spirit of George Foreman, found themselves grappling with a complex mix of emotions. There was a palpable sense of loss among those who had always associated the Foreman name with triumph and resilience, tempered by an understanding that even the most celebrated families are not immune to the trials of modern life. Public sentiment was a blend of empathy and caution, with many expressing hope that the young man would ultimately emerge from this ordeal stronger and more self-aware than ever before. The dialogue that emerged in the days following the sentencing was one of introspection, with discussions about legacy, responsibility, and the possibility of redemption dominating both traditional and social media platforms. In the midst of all this, the young man's personal reflections provided a window into the emotional toll that the entire process had taken on him. During one interview with a respected national news outlet, he candidly admitted that the weight of his actions was something he had never fully comprehended until the reality of the courtroom had set in. "I've spent many sleepless nights thinking about how my choices have affected not only my life, but also the legacy of my family," he confessed. I understand now that living up to a name like Foreman isn't just about physical strength or public achievements. It's about integrity, accountability, and the willingness to face one's demons head-on. His remarks resonated with an audience that was already deeply invested in the narrative, reinforcing the notion that this was not just a legal case, but a profound personal journey that would leave an indelible mark on all those involved. As the story continues to evolve, it is clear that the sentencing of George Foreman's son is far more than a headline. It is a turning point in the ongoing dialogue about celebrity, accountability, and the possibility of redemption. The legal proceedings, with all their complexity and nuance, serve as a stark reminder that no one is above the law, regardless of their background or the weight of their family's legacy. This case, which has captured the attention of millions, stands as a testament to the enduring principles of justice and the hope that even in the darkest of times, there is always the potential for renewal and transformation. In the aftermath of the sentencing, series of reflective interviews and op-eds began to surface, each offering a different perspective on what the verdict might mean for the future. Some commentators pointed to the case as an example of how modern society must reconcile the glories of the past with the expectations of the present, urging that every individual, even those born into fame, must be held accountable for their actions. Others emphasized the importance of compassion and the need to support individuals who are striving to make amends for their mistakes. These voices of reason, emerging from a landscape that was often marked by sensationalism and harsh judgment, underscored the belief that redemption is not only possible, but also essential for the betterment of society. Family members close to the young man have been notably private throughout the ordeal, yet their solidarity and unwavering support have been evident in subtle ways. Behind closed doors, there have been countless conversations about hope, resilience, and the power of forgiveness. The young man's journey, as shared in rare and heartfelt interviews, is not one of isolated despair, but of collective determination. A determination that he is ready to learn from his missteps and to work tirelessly toward rebuilding not just his own life, but also the public's trust in him. His resolve to change, expressed through his quiet yet sincere declarations, has opened up a broader conversation about how individuals can find the strength to overcome even the most daunting of personal challenges. Legal experts have also emphasized that the sentencing should be viewed as an opportunity for systemic reflection. They argue that the case has shone a light on the ways in which the legal system addresses issues of celebrity and legacy, challenging traditional notions of punishment and rehabilitation. By balancing the need for justice with an awareness of personal circumstances, the verdict serves as an example of a judicial approach that is both compassionate and effective. This case, they insist, may well set a precedent for how similar cases are handled in the future, reinforcing the idea that every person's story is multifaceted and that true justice requires an understanding of the full context of one's actions. The reaction among fans of boxing and sports in general has been one of mixed emotions. Long-time enthusiasts who have admired the Foreman family for generations now find themselves wrestling with a complex blend of admiration, disappointment, and hope. The legacy of George Foreman is one that has always been defined by both his achievements in the ring and his remarkable journey as an entrepreneur and humanitarian. In this context, the current situation is seen not as a betrayal of that legacy, but as a deeply human reminder that every life, no matter how celebrated, is vulnerable to the pressures and pitfalls of personal error. Supporters have taken to social media and public forums to express their belief that the young man, despite his mistakes, has the capacity to transform this period of hardship into an opportunity for growth and redemption. Within the broader cultural landscape, the sentencing has sparked important conversations about the expectations placed on those who inherit famous names. The intense scrutiny that accompanies such a legacy is both a blessing and a burden, and the current case has highlighted just how challenging it can be to forge one's own identity in the shadow of greatness. The young man's comments in the courtroom, which acknowledged the dual pressures of legacy and personal accountability, resonated with many who have felt the weight of public expectation in their own lives. His willingness to confront these challenges head-on, even in the face of public judgment, has been seen as a courageous act, one that may ultimately pave the way for a more empathetic understanding of the human experience. As we reflect on the events that have unfolded, it is evident that the sentencing is not an isolated incident, but part of a larger narrative that touches on themes of legacy, redemption, and the complex interplay between personal responsibility and public expectation. The case forces us to consider the ways in which society can support individuals who have erred while still holding them accountable for their actions. It is a delicate balance, one that requires a deep understanding of both the legal system and the human spirit. The narrative of this case, with its blend of personal sorrow, public scrutiny, and the promise of transformation, serves as a powerful reminder that even in the midst of scandal and disappointment, there is always the possibility of a new beginning. In the coming months, observers anticipate that the young man's journey will be closely followed by both the media and those who have long admired the Foreman legacy. His commitment to rehabilitation, as outlined by his legal team and personal reflections, suggests that the path forward will be challenging yet imbued with the possibility of genuine transformation. Legal authorities have emphasized that while the sentence is a serious measure, it is also a structured pathway designed to facilitate healing, education, and ultimately reintegration into society as a responsible citizen. The rehabilitative programs and community service initiatives that have been mandated as part of the sentence are seen as critical components of a comprehensive approach to justice, one that recognizes the potential for individuals to learn, grow, and ultimately contribute positively to their communities. As the story continues to develop, the impact of this case is likely to be felt for years to come. It has already prompted widespread debate among legal professionals, cultural critics, and fans of the Foreman family, each group bringing its own perspective on the meaning of legacy and the responsibilities that come with it. For some, the case is a stark reminder of the fallibility inherent in even the most celebrated families, while for others, it is a hopeful testament to the possibility of redemption through sincere effort and personal growth. In this sense, the sentencing represents not just a moment of judgment, but a turning point, a moment that could redefine how society approaches the interplay between fame, accountability, and the enduring human capacity for change. In the final analysis, the sentencing of George Foreman's son is a multifaceted story that encompasses both the grand narrative of a legendary family and the intimate personal journey of a young man coming to terms with his own shortcomings. It is a story that challenges us to look beyond the sensational headlines and to consider the deeper truths about responsibility, forgiveness, and the power of transformation. His own reflections, expressed through measured and heartfelt words, provide a glimmer of hope that even in the face of profound personal failure, there is the possibility of growth and renewal. As the legal process continues to unfold, and as the young man embarks on the long road to rehabilitation, his case will undoubtedly serve as a powerful reminder of the complex interplay between destiny and choice, legacy and individual identity. The echoes of the courtroom verdict will continue to resonate not only within the legal community, but also among the countless individuals who have followed the Foreman family's journey with admiration and respect. Over the decades, in a world where the line between heroism and human frailty is often blurred, this case stands as a reminder that every person, regardless of their heritage, must navigate the challenges of life with honesty and courage. The legacy of George Foreman, a legacy built on the ideals of perseverance, strength, and redemption, will now be joined by the equally complex narrative of his son, whose journey of self-discovery and accountability offers a unique perspective on what it truly means to bear a famous name. Looking forward, the hope among legal experts and family supporters is that this period of hardship will ultimately yield positive outcomes. The rehabilitative measures set in motion are designed to help him not only address the immediate issues at hand, but also to develop the resilience and wisdom necessary for a brighter future. His story, marked by both public scrutiny and personal introspection, may very well serve as an inspiration to others who find themselves caught between the pressures of legacy and the demands of modern accountability. In the end, the sentence is more than a punitive measure. It is an invitation to rebuild, to learn, and to transform a painful chapter into the foundation for a renewed sense of purpose. As the media continues to cover the ongoing developments with keen interest, it becomes clear that this case is emblematic of a broader cultural shift in how society handles the complex narratives of those born into greatness. The young man's experience serves as a mirror for all of us, reflecting the harsh realities of modern life, while also offering a glimpse of hope that even the deepest wounds can eventually heal. In the days, months, and years ahead, as he fulfills the requirements set forth by the court and works tirelessly toward his own rehabilitation, the story of his sentencing will remain a poignant reminder that redemption is not only possible, but in many ways, inevitable for those who choose to embrace change with sincerity and determination. Ultimately, this chapter in the life of a foreman is a testament to the enduring power of accountability, resilience, and the human spirit. While the path ahead may be fraught with challenges, the foundations of a stronger, more reflective future are being laid with each step he takes toward personal recovery. The legacy of a legendary boxer now finds itself intertwined with the equally complex journey of a man determined to rise above his past mistakes. His heartfelt declarations of remorse, coupled with his commitment to transformative change, have already sparked a broader dialogue about the nature of forgiveness and the possibility of rebirth in the wake of public scandal. To a society that often revels in sensationalism, it is refreshing to witness a case in which the focus is not solely on the fall from grace, but on the profound potential for growth and redemption. The story of George Foreman's son is one that resonates deeply with anyone who has ever struggled under the weight of expectation or faced the daunting challenge of reconciling personal failure with public identity. His journey, marked by both regret and a sincere determination to make amends, offers a nuanced perspective on the interplay between legacy and individuality, a perspective that is as timeless as it is deeply human. As this narrative continues to unfold, every new development will be watched with bated breath by those who believe in the power of transformation. His sentencing, though a moment of legal finality, is not an endpoint, but a beginning, a chance to rebuild, to reimagine what it means to be a part of a storied legacy, and to forge a new identity that is informed by both the lessons of the past and the promise of the future. With every step forward, he carries with him not only the weight of his own mistakes, but also the hope that his journey can serve as a beacon for others who find themselves at a crossroads between fame and fallibility. In the coming months, as he embarks on a structured program of rehabilitation and community engagement, his every move will be a part of a larger story, a story of accountability, redemption, and ultimately, the power of the human spirit to overcome even the most challenging of circumstances. His personal reflections, captured in moments of quiet introspection and public interviews alike, will continue to remind us that every chapter in life, no matter how painful, carries the seeds of renewal. The enduring legacy of the Foreman name, enriched by decades of triumph and struggle, now finds itself at the intersection of tradition and transformation, a place where the lessons of the past illuminate the path to a more hopeful future. In reflecting on the profound impact of this case, one cannot help but acknowledge that every great legacy is marked by moments of both brilliance and shadow. The sentencing of George Foreman's son is one such moment, a moment that challenges us to see beyond the surface of sensational headlines and to recognize the intricate tapestry of human experience that lies beneath. It is a story of ambition and error, of legacy, and the inevitable confrontation with one's own shortcomings, and of the enduring hope that even the most troubled souls can find their way back to a place of integrity and purpose. This saga, replete with legal intricacies, emotional revelations, and the heavy burden of a world-renowned family name, is far from over. It is an ongoing journey that invites us to consider what it truly means to seek forgiveness, to rebuild trust, and to stand tall in the face of public judgment. His comments in court, the measured responses of his legal team, and the heartfelt support from those closest to him all serve as powerful testaments to the idea that every setback is also an opportunity for a fresh start. As the echoes of the sentencing reverberate through both the media and the hearts of those who have followed the story, there remains a deep and abiding hope that the future will be defined not by the mistakes of the past, but by the promise of transformation and the enduring strength of the human will. In closing, while the pages of this chapter have been written with a heavy hand of accountability and introspection, they also bear the unmistakable marks of hope, resilience, and the possibility of redemption. The young man, burdened by the legacy of his name, yet driven by a desire to forge a better future, now stands at a crossroads that will define not only his own destiny, but also the evolving narrative of a family that has long been synonymous with greatness. His journey, marked by moments of both public sorrow and personal triumph, reminds us all that while the path to redemption is often steep and arduous, it is also paved with the promise of new beginnings and the unwavering belief that every individual can rise again, stronger and more determined than ever before. As this extraordinary case continues to unfold, and as the young man embarks on his long road to rehabilitation, the story of his sentencing will remain a powerful symbol of the challenges and possibilities that lie at the intersection of legacy and personal responsibility. It is a story that calls on us to examine our own values, to extend empathy even in the face of public scandal, and to recognize that every great journey, no matter how fraught with obstacles, carries within it the seeds of eventual renewal and hope. In the final analysis, the verdict is not an end, but a turning point, a moment that invites both reflection and action as we all strive to learn from the past and build a more compassionate, accountable future. Thus, as we look to the horizon and witness the unfolding of this pivotal moment in the life of a Foreman, let us do so with an open heart and a firm belief in the power of human transformation. The legacy of a champion, built on the ideals of perseverance and strength, now finds itself complemented by the equally profound journey of a man determined to redefine his own destiny. In the face of overwhelming odds, he stands as a testament to the enduring truth that every setback is but a prelude to a new beginning. A beginning marked by the promise of redemption, the courage to face one's mistakes, and the unwavering hope that even the darkest moments can give way to a brighter, more resilient future.